Africa Cup of Nations. Tonight we are in Cairo for the first Group B match between Kenya and Morocco. Match day 1. It is the second to take place in the group. Nigeria and Tunisia have already played out their group opener a little earlier. The 30th of June stadium, as you can see, not quite full to its impressive capacity of around 30,000, but a few watching on, very much ready to go on this pleasant Thursday evening in Egypt's largest and capital city. Yes, these two drawn in Group B, alongside the record 7-time champions Nigeria, former runners-up Tunisia, who've reached the final 4 in each of the last 2 editions. Morocco themselves, former champions. Kenya, the underdogs. They will be giving it their all, that is for certain. Morocco won their UNAF under-20 qualifying tournament. Won their first 2 games 2-1 against Egypt and Tunisia, now alongside them in Group B. So vote of confidence for that particular match coming in a few days' time. And then a 1-1 draw with Algeria, enough to see them through with 7 points to the knockout stages of the UNAF under-20 qualifiers. They won their final game 4-0, emphatically so, against Libya. Scored 9 goals in qualifying, with 8 players scoring. Saad El Haddad, the only player to score more than once. Kenya couldn't quite match that in their qualifying tournament. They finished as runners-up at the 2024 Sekafa Under-20 Championship. We'll explain exactly.
For those who love it, those who support it, and those who play it, Orange is here. Orange, proud sponsor of African football.
Here, we're known for our sense of service. It's all about finding ways to support you. Day after day, doing everything we can to be useful and providing energy in all its forms. Everywhere, every time, all across the continent.
So yes, Kenya runners-up at the 2024 Sekafa Under-20 Championship. Lost 2-1 in the final, despite taking the lead against hosts Tanzania. Nonetheless, scored 15 goals in the qualifiers, conceded just 4. Of course, half of those in the final. Kept 4 clean sheets in their 6 games. Top scorers were Kelvin Wangaya and Aldrin Kibet, each of whom scored 4 goals. Each of whom will start this first match at the Under-20 AFCON finals. Kenya's Under-20 national team, the Rising Stars, as they're known. They are certainly that. They will be heading onto the pitch here. First country to represent, or first players rather, to represent their country at the Under-20 AFCON finals. Morocco, meanwhile, featuring for the 13th time. Lucky for some, the Atlas Cubs will be hoping, not for them, but for the other Group B teams. So out onto the pitch, heads the CAF flag. CAF anthem blares out. The players now will follow the flag for the first time in this competition, heading out onto the Cairo turf. Special moment for all involved. The first opportunity to hear their country's national anthems played out in their honour. We will now take a brief pause for that moment. Kenyan national anthem sung out proudly. Now over to the young Moroccan players.
بالجسد هب فتى لب لنا في فمي وفي دمي وقتا الله الله
Sharifian anthem playing out there for the Atlas Cubs of Morocco for that Imungu Nguvu Yetu, aka Oh God Our Strength, the national anthem of Kenya. And this young Kenya 11 will require plenty of strength to overcome their Moroccan opposition this evening. See there, a 4-2-3-1 setup expected. Lawrence Okot leading the line, supported by Beja, Kibet and Owande. Wangaya and Omondi will patrol the middle of the park with Colin Zongu, Manzo Akwaru, Amas Wanjala and Baron Ochieng, the back four in front of Bernard Oyuri, the very young Kenyan keeper, just 16 years of age. He is the youngest player on the pitch, indeed, in either squad. Now lining up for the pre-match photo, one I'm sure to look back on in years to come as potentially where their careers took off, should they perform at the very highest level over the next 3 weeks. Akona Makalima, your referee this evening of South Africa, supported by Zambian and Mauritanian assistants. There's another South African in the VAR office, Habongile Tom, amongst others, there to oversee any particularly contentious decisions. We'll see how the night plays out. As for the Moroccan 11, also expecting a 4-2-3-1 setup. Mizbahi, Ait, Boudlal, Bauf and Zayouani, the back four, with Ben Shaush and Marti between the sticks, Boukamir and Lalawi. The defensive midfield, the double pivot, with Dayak, El Haddad and Mama supporting Yassir Zabiri at the top of the Moroccan tree. Dak, the captain, having just met with Amos Wanjala in the middle of the pitch. Those two will have to lead their sides, lead by example. What could be an incredibly important evening to set things off on the right foot. Here comes the countdown. So the referee blows the whistle and away we go in Cairo. Match day 1 in this year's Total Energies CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. Kenya take on Morocco in Group B's second match. Kenya in their traditional red, shooting from left to right as we watch on in this first 45. Morocco in all white with the red and green trim. First piece of defending to do for the away side officially on the day. Of course, both teams away from home. Morocco actually considerably closer to home than Kenya here in Egypt. Quick trip along the Mediterranean coast. I say quick trip, it is still a fair distance from Maroc to Cairo. It is indeed 4,500 kilometers. Less more familiar surroundings, and the Kenyans come even further with their own first piece of defending to do, and it's well claimed by young Bernard Oyure. Of course, all of these players could be described, or could have young attached to their surnames as an adjective, but Oyure particularly so. 16. Could have played in the recent Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations, and he's made a mistake here, but he's bailed out by his defender, Mansour Akwaru, with a heroic denial of Mama's shot. It was a mistake initially from Andres Omondi, then from Oyure, but Akwaru sparing the blushes of both his fellow defender and his goalkeeper. Should come back to the action. Oh, fired in towards Oyure's goal. This one dealt with a little more confidently. A few early nerves, perhaps. This is uncharted territory for all these players. The biennial nature of the Under-20 AFCON means don't get too many players returning to the competition before reaching the age limit. It was the 1st of January 2005, the cut-off to be able to participate in the competition. Yes, particularly these young Kenyans, rising stars, taking part in this competition, the AFCON finals for the Under-20s for the very first time. It's a commanding qualifying campaign. East African nation looking to carry that momentum into Group B. Up against 3 continental heavyweights though, in Nigeria, Tunisia and Morocco. Closest they'd previously come to the finals was back in 1979, and they lost their first round qualifier against Ethiopia, despite winning the first leg 2-0, lost the second 4-0. Whilst all the teams involved in this competition would love to lift the trophy at the end of it, of course. Top four, as Oyure has a much better job this time of claiming that ball into the box. Here's the final four. A goal in itself, as it is a ticket to the Under-20 World Cup. Four semi-finalists qualify to be CAF's representatives for the 2025 Under-20 World Cup in Chile this September into October. Reigning champions Uruguay won't be there to defend their title, as they finished 5th in the South American Under-20 Championship. In doing so, became the 8th consecutive title holders to fail to qualify for the subsequent tournament. Africa's traditionally performed strongly at the Under-20 Global Showpiece. Ghana winners in 2009, and Under-20 AFCON 23 winners Senegal finishing as runners-up a couple of years ago. Battle for those 4 golden tickets here in Egypt. Set to be a fierce one. Follow along with the hashtag Total Energies AFCON U-20. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering on, what you thought of the first 5 minutes here. One early scare for Oyure and Kenya. One they did escape unharmed from, just about. Sure, a few butterflies out there on the pitch for these young players, and another opportunity. That one dropped for El Haddad. Rai Smile from the number 24. Part of the Venezia Academy in Serie A. (19 years of age). Has now come through and made his Serie A debut this season. 3 appearances in all in the Italian top flight, having played for their youth team. And very impressively scoring 14 goals last campaign. Oh, shot from range and then some. Range rather underselling that effort from Kevin Wangaya. As mentioned in the build-up, he was one of the joint top scorers in the qualifying tournament. 4 goals to his name, alongside Aldrin Kibet, just in front of him in the number 10 role, and indeed with the number 10 on his back. That's going to drop on the edge of the area. And it's fired wide by El Haddad again. 2 big opportunities in as many minutes for the young Moroccan. Was closed down. It was Aquaro with the crucial intervention again. Just doing enough to put off El Haddad. His captain perhaps wanted it left to him. It's a big ask though. Ball's sat up so temptingly just outside the area. Now a chance for Kenya to break into the Morocco box for the first time. It was briefly into the area. Colin Zongu with the cross, but coming straight back at him. Mama can tidy up there over on the right wing. Calmly done by Ben Shaushmati. Carried forwards by Kevin Wangaya. Out to Owande. Waits for his right back to show up on the scene. Ochieng. Now it's back with Owande, who tried to catch Ben Shaush out with an early shot, but didn't catch it quite right. There, the chance down the other end. It was Mama who it fell to. One he may live to rue. The Montpellier player. Montpellier in Liga in the French top flight, but only for a few more games. 19-year-old part of a squad which will be relegated down to the second tier. That confirmed last weekend. It had looked set to be the case for a fair while. He's made 12 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist for La Paillade in the French top flight. Not his debut season though, even. Playing a couple of games last campaign, a far more successful campaign. And indeed, scoring in just his second game for the club during the season finale. A 2-2 draw with Lens. We'll see if Mama remains on with Montpellier or looks for fresh pastures. What's that relegation? Club, of course, may need to sell some players, make some money to rebuild. Mama, though, focus now on national matters. Taking the throw in there as Morocco break into the final third once again. Out to Zawani. Controlled it nicely, cut back inside nicely, and is barged over in no uncertain terms by Elio Wande. No complaints, though, from the Moroccan fullback. To his credit, I thought there might be a few inquiring glances at the referee there, but took it in their stride. Now having to backtrack as Ongu breaks forwards, but miscommunication there with his runner. And Beja not in the right place at the right time this time. And there was a glance towards the referee. Of course, VAR there to support Nakona Makalima. They don't seem to have deemed that necessary of a second viewing at the pitch side monitor. It was a risky one. Seen them given, I think is fair, but not given on this occasion. That's all that matters. Balf. Forwards to number 10. Captain, Mourad Dayak. Dropping deep to get involved. Now he's finding the space between the lines. That was also a very optimistic effort from range from the centre-backs, Abdelhamid Ait Boudlal. Another who plays his football in France with Amiens. risky at the back from Oyure. Could well be playing against his teammate Mama in Ligue 2 next season. Amiens currently mid-table in the second tier in France. Beja. It's the overlap from Mongu. Needs to put in the first time cross, and this time the inquiring glances in the direction of the referee resulted in a free kick just outside the box. Mesbay sliding in, and I'm assuming blocking that with an arm. Couldn't see from our angle, but indeed that is pretty clear. Arm out from the body. It is point-blank range, but certainly a free kick. What could have been very dangerous. Ball into the box. Arguably dangerous move from Oyure, but one which came off beautifully. And left Morocco centre forward Zabiri sliding nowhere in particular. 5 or 6 in the box. A couple of little clusters of players here. Mesbay determined to prevent an opportunity for anyone, having given away this free kick. Line of 3 in red just in front of him. So we'll take past the quarter-hour mark. This is about as good of an opportunity as Kenya have produced thus far. It's floated in and onto the head. Who opens the scoring for Kenya. Well, they survived a couple of early scares. But they produced one of their own and made it stick. Kenya's main man in attack, given far too much space. Right by the penalty spot and making no mistake to head home Kenya's first ever goal at the Under-20 AFCON finals. And it all stemmed from that handball from Mesbay. Great movement from one of the men, a young man who was lined up in front of the Moroccan right back. He floated away, ghosted away. It was a good few yards from Lalawi, threw himself towards the Kenyan forward, but couldn't get close enough, and nothing Ben Schausch could do as that nestled in the bottom corner. And they may well dance. A piece of history for the young Kenyan footballers. Lawrence Okot will forever go down as the first ever Kenyan player to score at the Under-20 AFCON finals. Charging in there. Unerring challenge from Elio Ande. Still going. This time winning the ball for good. Ochieng couldn't find a way down the right touchline though. Well dealt with by Aquaru. He looked a little frustrated that he didn't manage to turn that into a pass, but main job done of averting the immediate danger. Morocco determined to strike back as quickly as possible here. They were the favourites coming into this match, but now they'll have to come from behind if they are to take all 3 points. Good news is there's a lot this match remaining, a long time. Wish there could be many more twists and turns in this tale. Drop of the shoulder from Balf. That's Al-Haddad dropping deep once again. Seems to be a fairly fluid attacking three behind Zabiri. Dag coming inside occasionally, switching places with El-Haddad. Mama does seem to be sticking for now to that right wing. Patient build-up play from the Atlas Cubs. Not panicking. Long way to go in this match, long way to go in the group stage. Of course, it's about to tick past 20 minutes. I thought it would be 3 hours of football in the next couple of days, and probably about 5 in total across Group B games. Now forced all the way back though. Kenyan press doing its job, gaining the territory back. Hurcott's now left to his own devices to press single-handedly at the front. Morocco reset and come again. Balf, quite often the most advanced defender, considering the fullbacks, often further forward stand Lalawi, looking to play passes between the lines. Seems to have that in his locker, the Anderlecht youngster. Lawrence Hurcott, meanwhile, has a goal in his locker. Plays for the Kenyan team, Mofa, 19-year-old. Now, we'll see his name forever in the history books. Away by Wanjala. It was his attempt to get that under control from Kibet, but did eventually roll on through to Ben Schausch. Another brilliant piece of improvisation from the Kenyan number 10. Again, outside of his boot, flicking it over his marker this time, who then went down. Ait Boudlal, shake of the head. Having also seemingly left a hand on Kibet. Quickly shook off the blow to the face, so the Kenyan, whilst it seems to be a more significant problem for the Amiens centre-back. Turned 19 a couple of weeks ago. Marrakesh born, Abdelhamid Ait Boudlal. He is 2 days 2 days older than Fouad Zayouani, alongside him, and 6 days younger than Yanis Ben Schausch behind him. 3 of the 5 defence-focused young Moroccans, all turning 19 the last fortnight or so. Plenty of young talent watching on, potentially to feature later on the Moroccan bench. Hamza Koutoun of the Ligue 1 side OGC Nice. Plenty of francophone players, plenty of players plying their trade in the French top flight. The man from Ligue 2 has his head in his hands. He's loaded up onto the cart, and unfortunately that might be a game-ending issue. Not the way he wanted his night, and hopefully not his tournament to end. Just a quarter of this match gone. The ambulance taking Ait Boudlal off the pitch. He is replaced by Hamza Goutoun. Number 2, the young Aiglon, as is the Nice nickname. Eaglet in English, and certainly a youngster, one of the younger members of the squad, just 18. Born in Casablanca. Here's looking at you, Hamza. Nicely controlled initially by Lorenzo Katz, and then another free kick one in a similar position to the one that led to his opener. Goutoun with a first piece of defending to do, rather thrown in at the deep end. He a little more acclimatised than some to this kind of setting, having played in the Under-17 AFCON and the Under-17 World Cup with Morocco. Under-17s, of course. Nonetheless, still a big occasion. Every one of these players on the pitch. As by watching the movements of Aquaro like a hawk. This time it's finding with pace towards the goal, and I think a couple of players thought that had nestled in the back of the net. Certainly a few in the stands did. Me questioning my eyes for a moment as it struck the stanchion at the back of the goal, nestled in the wrong side of the net from a Kenyan perspective. No second as yet, though, for the Rising Stars. Cots not quite able to find Kibet on that occasion. Well kept in by Dayak. Two, though, couldn't find a teammate. Mangaya trying to play his way out, but giving the ball away in a dangerous position. It's tipped over by Oyure. Otman Mama denied once again, this time though by the Kenyan keeper. Mangaya stayed down. Certainly decent chunk of the ball retrieved by Reid Alawi. Quick pass into the path of Mama. That was an opportunity. Mohamed Wabi watching on. 48-year-old technician. In charge for over 3 years now, since March 2022. Has but one ambition, to bring the Under-20 AFCON trophy back to Morocco. And their long wait for a second title. Oyure with a strong punch, and he goes just beyond the edge of his area. Comes straight back at him from El Haddad. It's well held at the second time of asking for the young Kenyan keeper. Well struck too by El Haddad. As we cut back back to the action. It's already with Ben Chelsh. Kibet seemingly involved once again, proving a creative spark for Kenya in this opening half an hour. Anthony Akulia, Kenyan head coach. Initial save there from Oyure. Well positioned, good reactions. He's been forced into a few saves thus far in the first half. Six shots for Morocco to Kenya's 4. It's mishit by Wangaya, but it just about had enough on it to reach Aquaro. Ongu dummies to send it forwards, and rather misplaced his simple horizontal pass to Wangaya and handed back possession to Morocco. Alawi on to El Haddad, kept in by Dayak, now over on the right-hand side. Teaming up alongside Mama. Not sure who's on the left wing currently. Going for the overload here on the right wing, Morocco. Three of their attacking midfielders on that side. Sayuani, rather isolated on the left. Doesn't reach him though, and here comes the Kenyan counter. Just holding the ball up there, Amondi, waiting for reinforcements. They arrive in the shape of Awande. Tries to force it through. Caught a little in two minds there. Yeah, Al Nazar prospects. One of just four, in this Kenyan 11. Plays their football outside of Kenya. Playing for Al Nassr in United Arab Emirates, not Cristiano Ronaldo's Saudi Al Nassr. And 2 in Spain, captain Wanjala playing for Toyorano, and Mudreen Kibet playing for Nastic Sports Academy. And it is Colin Zongu, the left back, plays in Denmark for AC Horsens. The Horsens left back galloping down left wing on a number of occasions. Pressing early on here, but will be a ball in from the far right-hand side this time. A long throw from Ochieng, just dealt with. Cut out by Amondi, sent back by Wangaya. There is Kibet, who's done really well to win the ball back. Can he get his head up? He does. Picked out Pesha, but he was too closely marked. Deflected shot straight into the gloves of Ben Chelsh. Wondered if, as the underdogs, Kenya might sit back after getting their goal, claiming the lead. But pushing on still. In the 15 or 20 almost now minutes since that opener. Need to double their lead. Since there are more goals in this one. Dayak looks to create one now. It was just over the head of Yasser Zabiri, well claimed by Oyure. time the Rising Stars can't break out of their own half. Just want to avoid dropping back too deep if they can. Inviting the pressure. Morocco have had almost 3/4 of the possession to this point. Looking to do something with it here. It's a good ball in. Right onto the head of El Haddad, but he was beaten to the ball by a man in red. Lalawi. Oh, letting that one go, Zabiri, but erroneously so. Space here for Wangaya. The Travella pass out to the right, which will be well kept in by Ochieng. A bit more fancy footwork, but the final ball lacking. It's great work from Aguaro. Continues on the centre-back and wins a free kick. About 20 or 25 metres out. And a well-earned high five has been excellent in defence and now providing an attack as well. Certainly had a handful of his shirt there, the young Moroccan. And this, a different kind of dangerous free kick, not far from the 18-yard line of Yanis Ben Shaush's goal. Other two were quite an acute angle to think about a shot. The second was directed goalwards. First, of course, right onto the head of Okot, but this very much within shooting range, not far from where a set-piece taker would choose to place the ball. Will head goalwards. Wasn't far wide from Kevin Wangaya. Another impressing here in this first half. Knowing look from the referee. Something of a knuckleball there. That was the technique. But, just curling a little too much away from the near post for Wangaya. Currently without a club, Kevin Wangaya, 19-year-old. I think that'll be the case for long after this tournament, judging by his start to it. A hit pass, looking to switch the play over to the left to the captain, but whilst Dyke applauded it, they can't afford to be making simple mistakes like that. After a nervy first minute or two, Kenya have steadied the ship and looked pretty settled. Another piece of composed play there by Okot. Passing away near the halfway line. Nice feet from El Haddad. Ultimately goes nowhere, but Dyke can bring it back and return it to Saad El Haddad. Good tackle from Andres Amondi.
Come on, guys, come on.
Dyke puts in the corner. That was less convincing from Ayuri. Went for the punch, didn't reach the ball. Lalawi claiming the final touch came off. Presumably Ayuri, in the Kenyan nearby. He didn't look totally sure of where it was going. No one did in truth, not sure what part of whom that hit, but ultimately something of a let-off for Bernardo Yuri. There you see the possession stats. 73.6%. But a lot of that in their own half, or just inside the Kenya half. Simple passes, left to right. Kenya have looked just as threatening in their more limited time with the ball. Sayouani, it's better, but still couldn't make the final pass stick. For Zabiri. They have to be so wary of these Kenyan counter-attacks. That is a brilliant ball, picked up by Kibet, but an equally brilliant sliding tackle from Ismail Bauf. Well-earned round of applause from those watching on. So that was last ditch. Last minute. Had to be perfect and was. Word again though for the pass, which initially looked like it might be cut out, but just curled perfectly into this young man's path. Kibet bringing it on again. No free kick. Given to the lively 17-year-old. Turn 18 next month. For an early 18th birthday present in this tournament. Strong start to it from the second youngest player on the pitch. That's another example there of just how dangerous Kenya can be on the break. Plenty of pace, passing to match up to the speed. Missed there by Ochieng, but it's again using that acceleration to this time get back into the right defensive position. Mama sails past one, past two. As his pass in the direction of Haddad cut out. To the final 5 minutes of the first half now. Final 4, in fact. See how much additional time there is. Pretty shortly. Of course, that injury break for the unwanted early departure of Ait Boudlal. Quarry closed down, and Haddad chips it over Ongu. Godot to retreat a touch, taking the way back to the halfway line. Ultimately, all the way back to Ben Schausch. That's well done as well. Chipped over the left back again. Well saved by Bernardo Yuri. Ruud Dayak looks unmoved. No frustration, disappointment shown by the Moroccan captain, but that was another opportunity. Great play by Mama. It was actually Sabiri rather than Dayak with the shot. Either way, Yuri doing enough. Can Kenya make good on save down the other end? No is the answer by the time I get to the end of the sentence, and Mama looks to bring it away. Game just a little stretched here late in the first half. Mama finds his way past one, left by Lalawi. Blocked not once but twice. Moroccan players look to the referee. This time it was Dayak with the initial shot, but what did it strike? What part of a Kenyan body did the ball hit? Meanwhile, before VAR can potentially get involved, down the other end, Kibet looking to double the pain. But, well saved by Ben Schausch. No sign as yet of VAR getting in the ear of Akona Makalima. Game really opened up here, tempo increasing late in the first half. Morocco finishing the half on a high. Frustrated though if they can't make good on this spell. It would be the stereotypical excellent time to score just before half-time. Force the position coach, Anthony Aculia, probably on your screen, on this occasion, to rip up his half-time team talk. He might have to do that. The flag has stayed down, but the referee has blown for a foul. It was Zabiri who turned it in. And knocking on the door here, Morocco. A number of obstacles in the way. It was a great save from El Haddad initially, but dropping to Zabiri. Couldn't miss this one. Into an empty net, but kicking the ball away in frustration as he realised the referee had already blown. Great tenacity from El Haddad as the Kenyan defence looked a little less than convincing again. Manjala, the captain, has stayed down. A lot to unpack here. Huge amounts of action in the space of about 2 minutes. It was a brilliant dummy. And then Dayak shot, I think, into the torso. Oh, the Kenyan captain, indeed it was. That the angle we were waiting for. And cleared away. Loose ball by Elio Wande. I'm sure that was checked by VAR. Brief pause here as we've entered 3 minutes of additional time. VAR, of course, having had their work cut out here late in the first half, will have cleared the potential handball against Wanjala, but may well be deeming whether it's worthy of a second look. That foul, as it was adjudged to be by Akona Makalima in the build-up to what would have been a Moroccan equalizer. And it is worthy of a second look. VAR have summoned South African referee over to her pitch side monitor. See here. So it was Zabiri, potentially the guilty party, on Manjala. Is there enough there to rule out the goal? Did Manjala actually, Manjala make much contact? That's potentially crucial. Hard to tell from this angle. I think it has, as being pointed out there by the freeze frame. Come off the left foot of Zabiri. Does that cancel out the contact, which the referee saw the foul in initially? Nervous wait here for Kenya. They're about to have their half-time lead wiped out by VAR in stoppage time. Who does that come off? Referee has seen enough. We will get a decision here. Check complete. And the goal stands. A rollercoaster ride late in the first half for Morocco. Ends on the up. They get their equaliser. Yassir Zabiri, initially penalised for a foul moments before he turned the ball into an empty net, does get his goal. With the benefit of hindsight, the referee said not enough for a foul there. Ball in from Zayouani. There was some contact, but not just between the players, also between Zabiri and the ball. VAR and the referee in agreement that was not enough to rule out this goal. So, as the first half will surely come to an end, unfortunate for Ayure after a was initially a great reaction stop. This time not bailed out by his defenders. We will be back all level as we started. All square. The half-time whistle. That is, unless there is an even later twist in the tail in this first half. We'll likely get another minute or so, having spent much of the 3 minutes on that VAR check. Well, it's Eli Owande who's stayed down. He span away and ran into his opposite number. Not sure if that was a free kick or just the break in play to check on the fouled player. Number 13 is now back on his feet and heading to the sidelines. Indeed, certainly no foul on the Kenyan player. If anything, it was foul on the Moroccan one. And there will be no more added on there. 50 minutes played in a fascinating first half. At the end of it, score reads Kenya 1, Morocco 1. That was Lawrence Okot who broke the deadlock just over a quarter of an hour. Kenya looked good value for that lead. Morocco started to turn the screw late in the first half, and Yassir Sabiri, after a lengthy VAR check, cancelling out that Kenyan opener. All still to play for in the second 45. Well, are you not entertained? Those in the stands. Plenty of action, 2 goals. Indeed, the players well cheered off. Plenty of Kenyan support. Made the long journey here to Egypt. Here the statistical tale of the first half. Possession dominated by Morocco. Almost 3/4 of the ball. The rest, though, far more even. 11 shots to 8, 5 to 3. Those on target. Certainly better accuracy in terms of passing. More corners, more fouls too, though. No bookings as yet. How will the second half play out? Join us again in just under 15 minutes to find out. back at the first half of this Group B opener at the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations between Kenya and Morocco. Oh, big mistake at the back from young Bernard Oyure, not pounced upon. It's floated into the middle and onto the head of Lawrence Okot. Kenya's first ever goal at the Under-20 AFCON goes to Lawrence Okot, who breaks the deadlock here in just over a quarter of an hour. Another free kick and into the side netting. Had a few in the stands and maybe even a couple on the pitch. Fooled there as that hit the stanchion, the back of the net. Sayuani into the middle. Zabiri battling for it, and that's El Haddad, and Zabiri will turn it in. Flag stays down, but the referee has pointed for a free kick. Without the moment of contact between the goalscorer Zabiri in the build-up and the Kenyan captain, Amos Wanjala. VAR getting involved here. Checking this, whether it's worthy of a second look. And it is indeed. Over to a pitch side monitor. Heads Akona Makalima. And the goal is reinstated. Late on in the first half. Yasser Zabiri cancels out the Kenyan opener. Great tenacity from El Haddad. Zabiri gets his goal this time. Half-time score will be 1 apiece. Zabiri scoring in the final minute of the first half. and welcome back to Egypt for the second half of this first round of Group B games, this one between Kenya and Morocco at the 2025 Total Energies CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. And it is all square at the halfway point. No lack of entertainment along the way. A goal apiece. 15 minutes or so on the clock when Lawrence Okot scored Kenya's first ever Under-20 AFCON goal. And they held their own until the very end of the first half when Yasser Zabiri turned the ball home into an empty net. Initially ruled out for a foul in the build-up, which VAR recommended that the referee have another look at. She did so and reinstated the goal. So 1-1 at the halfway point of this first group game. And a second change for Morocco. Early on, enforced change, Abdelhamid Aid Boudlal injured. Hamza Koutoun replacing him. So too now, Hossam Esadak brought on for the second half. Changes deemed necessary by Mohamed Ouabi. We'll see if they have the desired effect as we get back underway. With 45 minutes to play in Cairo. Battling away on the far side, Eliawande giving away a free kick. Opportunity to send the ball into the box. First time in the second half here for Morocco. Mazrada Lalawi initially battling with Awande, but then the captain Dayak, who drew the foul and will now take the resulting free kick. Headed away by Ochie. Not the tallest, the fullback, but strong head on the ball there. Nicely worked there. Opportunity to have the ball in turned down by Zayouani. It's his ball in that led to the equalizer. Mama at the back stick can't keep that one alive. Manzu Aquaro had a very strong first half. He's solid at the back and even creating at the other end once or twice. This is the time to turn it on for all these players. Eyes of the continent and often the world watching. We saw a few big faces in the stands at the Under-17 AFCON last month. Arsene Wenger attending a number of games. This is where players can mark themselves out as stars of the footballing future. It's always been more than just a youth tournament. The Under-20 AFCON is a window into the future of African football. Over the decades, the competition has unveiled a number of extraordinary talents. First captured continental attention in this tournament for ascending to the heights of world football. Journeys of the past remind us that today's rising star, and there are officially 11 rising stars by name on the pitch, but at least 22 will be involved, nicknames aside. They could become tomorrow's Ballon d'Or contenders, national legends, Champions League winners. Millions watching. Shows that it's possible to make the journey from the dusty pitches of youth football to the grand stages around the world. And former under-20 stars that epitomise that. Can name a few. Yaya Toure announced himself at the 2003 under-20 AFCON. Commanding performances, earned him tournament's best player award. Of course, went on to be a key figure in the treble-winning Barcelona team, and then Premier League powerhouse for Manchester City. Even could argue he reshaped how the modern midfielder is defined. A couple of years earlier, Michael Essien put in a great showing. Under-20 AFCON in Ethiopia. Another Premier League legend for Chelsea, and, well, a current Premier League legend long before he became Liverpool's Egyptian king. Mohamed Salah was putting all of that raw talent on display at the under-20 AFCON. Now breaking records and lifting the Premier League trophy in the days to come. Historic 20th title sealed at the weekend. Here, though, we look at the current crop of under-20 African stars. It's Morocco who started the second half, the brighter. And here we'll have a corner. Captain Dayak to take again. Into a dangerous area. Did well that time, Mayuri. A sea of bodies. Seems to have done himself a bit of harm there. Maybe as he landed awkwardly. Would have been an unnatural angle to return to earth, having been almost bunched out by some of his own defenders and a number of players in white attacking the ball. Rather heavy landing. Seems to have shaken it off. As have the side shaken off that initial danger and now look to venture forwards themselves. It's a misunderstanding there, though, between Owande and Kibet. Well won back by Colin Zongu. 18-year-old born on New Year's Day. Well, can you have any resolutions for the second half? Some are going the way they would have liked in the first 5 minutes or so. But now look to apply some pressure of their own. Flicked on, but Bencha's quickly out to claim. Given away. Could be costly for Ochieng, but gets away with it on this occasion. Reminder of the hashtag Total Energies AFCON U-20. Join the conversation online at your social media platform of choice. Plenty to talk about in the first half. Here, a potential talking point at the start of the second. Kenya bursting into the box, options in the middle. It was a shot from Okot. Then on the rebound, kept alive by Beja. Ultimately comes to nothing somehow for Kenya. Kibet, Okot, Beja all there. Wangaya as well. It was off the hand of Wangaya, I think, in the build-up. Beja did his best to keep it alive. Would have gone out anyway, I think. Was eventually stopped for the handball by the Kenyan midfielder, but another example of the dangerous counter-attacks Kenya produced in the first half on occasion. had a numerical advantage there. I think it was 4 on 3 as they broke into the box. Kibbe was actually better placed than Urquhart, but Kenya's scorer unaware. Of course, centre forward always looked to fit it himself. And that could be the case here, and it is. Yasser Zabiri grabs his and his side second. He stayed down though in the aftermath. At what cost? A second goal for Morocco. From one end to the other, missed by Collins Ongu. This time it was a costly mistake. Mama kept it in. Beat Ongu a second time for good measure, and a third. Lifted it into the danger area. It was Zabiri who got his head to it. But then got his head to Amos Wanjala as well. Those two colliding once again in the build-up to a goal. This time, referee didn't blow for a free kick. Collided with the post as well in the aftermath. Yes, here's Zabiri, but it seems to be his ankle that's caused him the issue. Right ankle as he landed. Not what you want to see. A chance to wheel away in celebration for Zabiri. He's had a great start to the tournament here with 2 goals in under an hour at the Under-20 AFCON finals, but is he going to be a third change, a second enforced one for Mohamed Wabi? Yeah. Medical vehicle is out again. As Anthony Akulia unpacks the latest chapter in a Moroccan turnaround. Great work down the right-hand side from Othman Mama. Brilliant ball in, right onto the forehead of his centre forward. A chance for Urquhart at one end, which he couldn't make the most of. Zabiri did make the most of it, but seemingly at the expense of the final half an hour here. Teenager looks in some discomfort. Seems that he'll have no chance to complete a hat-trick here. That's a real shame to see. A young man who is going to be forced off in tears here. I hope it's nothing too long-term, but you worry with the way he reacted. And with the longer-term shows of anguish as well. There'll be not just one, but 2 fresh faces though for Morocco. 4 of their substitutions already have come and gone by the hour mark. First, the number 9, Ayman Argige, entering the pitch, and then shortly after it will be Ismail Awad. It will be the captain, Dayak, to make way. Armband handed off. Yeah. Freshened up front line for Morocco. No choice but to replace Zabiri. Zayek as well. And Kenya maybe in need of some fresh thinking here, having seen their 1-goal lead turn into a 2-1 deficit in the space of under 15 minutes of play. Were the underdogs coming into this one, looked Far from David taking on a Goliath in the first half, but the class of Morocco starting to show. They had numerous opportunities which they didn't make the most of earlier in the game. Now though, Zabiri with a couple of finishing touches applied. Morocco with the lead with a little over half an hour remaining.
Manos, no vayan. Manos.
Play on, says the referee. Kenya will do quite happily, but Kimet couldn't find the run of Okat. Morocco backtracking impressively. It will be tough to beat from here. That's brilliantly done by El Haddad again, who very nearly scored what would have been a goal of the tournament contender. Brilliantly flicked over. And I think maybe fingertip, crucial one from Ayure to turn that on to the upright. We'll get another viewing as it's another wry smile from the talented youngster. Talk about stars of the future. He's making himself out as one. It was an all-important tip onto the post. The flick onto the head. Still bouncing. He set himself very nearly. Produced a beauty there. Kenya escaped that one. Lead still just one goal. Respond with a double change of their own. It'll be Colin Zongu, one player to make way, and Elio Wande, the other. Left back culpable for the second Morocco goal. Had put in a good performance up to that point. He's replaced by Kegengo. Looks like it might be a reshuffle of sorts with Ochieng now over on the left side of defence. Presumably Kegengo now at right back. Does still look to be the same 4-2-3-1 formation. 25 shots in all, pretty evenly balanced. Morocco will be content to slow things down here. As you can see there, straight swap with Javan Ochieng coming on. Second Ochieng now in the Kenya 11. Straight swap on the right wing, having replaced Owande. Just look at that. Brilliant improvisation from El Haddad. What a goal that would have been. Thigh, flick off the heel, off the forehead, thigh again. Striking it on the bounce. It was heading for the bottom corner, but for that fingertip save from Ayure. Might be worked again here. Young Kenyan keeper. The new captain to send the ball into the box, flicked on by the new number 9. Combining their Esadak and Argig, but this time more comfortable for the Kenyan backline. Mama, can he produce this time? Straight past Ochieng, and was leading a touch left as he took the shot, and it's another yellow frustration from the young Montpellier man, who showed moments of brilliance, as has at the other end Audrey Kibet. Well, that was more brilliance from the Kenyan number 10, but not the finish. Great pace and strength to force his way past Julien Mesbahi. Just, I think, put off by the incoming Ismail Balf. Had to take an extra touch and then rush the shot a touch. This one back deep into the Moroccan half. Enter on goal is Beja, but out from his goal is Ben Chauch. Brave goalkeeping, throwing himself at the feet of the forward, off his legs and his torso, and then agile enough to gather up the loose ball before anyone could come gambling in red. Shows how fragile this Moroccan lead is, though. A couple of decent opportunities in quick succession for Kenya. Their heads haven't gone down despite this turnaround. It was Mama's brilliance in the build-up which produced the second goal of the night. He'll get the assist. Haddad might just get the assist for the first goal. It's a bit of a scramble, and I'm not sure if the final touch came off him or Ure in the Kenyan goal before it was turned home by Zabiri. He has been certainly one of the stars thus far in what is almost 3 quarters now of this match day 1 meeting between Kenya and Morocco. Important double challenge by Aquaro. That gives it away immediately, though. Ball forwards from Esadak. Bought in the armband since replacing Muad Dayak. Under-delivering, at least in terms of the pass on that occasion. Shot from range comes in from Esadak, but overhit pass, overhit shot from the Moroccan captain. The wave that Morocco were riding either side of the half-time break seems to have just dissipated a touch. You're looking more confident and more dangerous again, and you imagine the pendulum will continue to swing in terms of the attacking football as we close in on the 90-minute mark. Morocco will naturally fall deeper, defend harder, looking to maintain this narrow lead. It opens up here for Kibet, and that one a little underwhelming. Round of apology from the Gymnastic Sports Academy graduate. Two head coaches watching on. I couldn't keep that one in. Sticking to the game plan of Mohamed Wabi, it would appear. There's a philosophy based on ball possession. See, they follow that in the stats. Quite as high as it was at half-time, but still close to 70% of the ball. It's been, that's a Moroccan boot. Formerly of the Anderlecht Youth Academy in Belgium, Mohamed Wabi. Nice to see his team control the game. Be effective in attack, and they have done both of those for large periods of this game. A player from the Anderlecht Youth Academy in his backline, Ismail Balf. He's currently waiting in the middle. Tries to trick his way past Zayouani. He's going to drop here for Beja. And just like that, Kenya restore the draw. Restored by Hassan Beja. You wondered if this game was about to get away from Kenya. Morocco completing the turnaround in the space of 10 minutes of play. But they have turned the tide here. Brilliant play, chested out by Wangaya. Kibet bringing it across and then leaving it for Beja in a better position, who fired that beyond Ben Schausch and made it 2-2 here in Cairo. And that was flipping brilliant. That's clear. The opinion of the travelling Kenyan fans. We're now back in full voice. We lost their main man in attack. How will Morocco feel? They do have their number 9 by a number, at least on the pitch. Decent backup that's been well kept in by Zayouani. Also brilliantly found his way past Ochieng. Stopped illegally. The momentum swinging back and forth in this one. Who will it be with? We'll reach the final whistle. Who will have the lead? Will there be a team in the lead? 20 minutes remaining. 2/3 of the possession still, but Kenya have evened those percentages out of touch since the restart. It's going to drop on the edge of the area. That was not far away at all from El Haddad. He's determined to grab this goal of the tournament. That would have been pretty special as well. Tricky technique. It was his left foot that produced what was almost a stunning third a few moments ago. It's an even harder technique on his right. Very two-footed. Haddad could be a star of this tournament. Long way to go though. Plenty of pressing here. The first 90 minutes of AFCON Under-20 finals football. these two teams. Red El Alawi has been solid in the middle of the park as well. Big moments in defence and attack. Turns 20 next week. Try and ensure he's still in the tournament for his birthday, 11th of May. Red El Alawi groups coming to a close on the 7th. Quarterfinals will take place on the 12th. Another free kick delivered into the Kenyan box, this time beyond everyone though. Ishmael Balf, the closest to getting on the end of it at the back post. Here, that second Kenyan goal again. Fired low by Besha. Ben Schausch couldn't get down quickly enough. Found the gap and delivered. As we come back to the action, it's the Rising Stars on the rise again. This time though, Kibet's pass is cut out. Back quickly. Sent forwards by Wanjala. Back by Morocco's second captain of the evening though. The side able to hang on to the possession at the moment for any extended period of time. Quarter of an hour remaining of the final say here in Cairo. Another long throw, seemingly in the offing from Baranocchieng. Showed what he could do in the first half from the right-hand side. That's well into the box again. Knocked on by Okot, but foul spotted by the referee. Morocco will be able to clear their lines. Another double change incoming for Anthony Akulia. Waited a fair while to make his first change, but two quick doubles. He'll be back on level terms with his fellow head coach in terms of remaining available substitutions. Ryan Webby's hand forced by 2 injuries. 4 changes made by the hour mark. Mwangi is one to come on. William Mwangi, and so too Oliver Machaka. Both number 9s now on the pitch. Lawrence Okot. It's well deserved pat on the back, opening the scoring. He will not score though, the final game of the night. Sent forwards by Esadak. Here's Mama. Quick change of pace again, it's into the middle. That's a pretty nasty collision. One though, which has seemingly resulted in the 3rd goal. Is it going to stand? Yes, it will. When the referee's whistle, the players turn round, but they're still celebrating. Kenya are protesting. Kiss for the badge. Kiss for everyone watching on at home from Red El Alawi. Collision was between El Haddad and Wanjala, I think, initially. The play continued. For the second time, a scramble in the Kenyan box. Ultimately saw the ball turned into a largely empty net. Let's watch it back here. Mama with the drop of the shoulder. There's the moment the VAR will check over for the unerring finish from Lalawi. Kenyan players standing still, protesting. signalling for VAR. Will VAR have anything to say about this one? Reinstated Morocco's first goal. Could they cancel out their third? For now, the Moroccan fans celebrate. Here, a stretcher being asked for. Not for the first time tonight, unfortunately. It will be a nervous wait for both teams. They wait to see if there is to be any intervention from VAR. I think the captain just checking with the referee whether a check is ongoing in the VAR office, and I think the nod affirming that that is the case. It's a genuine attempt at the ball from El Haddad, then rolled over himself. Missed the ball, definitely took a chunk of the man. Wasn't enough on a first viewing for Akona Makalima to stop the play. You can see why VAR are having a thorough look at this one. Far from clear cut. Get the feeling that the referee could be instructed to have a second look at this one as well. Oh. No, the goal stands. No second look required. Morocco celebrate for the second time, the third time on the night in terms of their goal tally. Radel Alawi adds a goal to Yassir Zabiri's brace, puts Morocco back in front for the second time. Kenya will have to fight back from behind for a second time. 10 minutes plus stoppage time in which to do so. Five goals, no shortage of entertainment. Dare we dream of one more? I'm sure the Kenyan fans are doing just that. Yellow card for Kevin Wangaya in the aftermath. Presumably there is protestations. Nice change of pace there from Javan Ochieng. Baron Ochieng alongside him. It's brought away by Mama. Wangaya claims he got the ball, has to be careful. Now on a yellow card. Nice ball out to the right-hand side. Kagengo making the supporting run here for the latest addition. It's into the middle. Wangi's cross brought down by his fellow substitute Machaka. Mama's footwork this time doesn't find a way past. Most of the stats in the balance, bar the possession, 15 to 19 in terms of shots, most importantly 2 to 3 in terms of goals. Standing on the ball a bit there, but possession retained. Chaka can get that under control. Still full of running. Kevin Wangaya on since the first whistle. It's barely broken down to walking pace. Saad El Haddad has a rather delayed reaction, must be said, to that collision with his fellow number 24. Nonetheless, that's the free kick. Another player in white currently down prostrate on the turf. Touch of cramp perhaps. All stemmed from the ball there being given away by Ochieng. But it was Lalawi who gambled on the loose ball. Made no mistake with his one touch. To say, unfortunate for Wanchala. Certainly innocent in that challenge, in that coming together. Not enough for either the referee or those in the VAR office to deny the third goal for Morocco.
Up guys, up guys!
Fans who are in attendance have made plenty of noise, but we'll see. There are periods where it is a bit quieter than your usual 30,000-seater stadium. That, though, harks back to the times of football during COVID and the silver lining at that time, which was the fascinating addition of being able to hear a lot of the head coaches, even the players. Something that's not normally a possibility. Tens of thousands of fans inside any given stadium. Who are the more vocal players and instructions being passed on from the sidelines. There's a call there to keep their heads up, presumably from Anthony Aculia. Into the final five now, but this one is finely balanced. It's rotating quickly by Ochieng. Javan Ochieng, simply now a permanent fixture over on the left-hand side alongside his namesake. And it's the latter who puts in the ball there, presumably having switched to the left to make space for Mwangi on the right, and there, off the post, and somehow the rebound isn't poked beyond Ben Schausch. Oliver Machaka with one of the biggest opportunities of the game in the final 5 minutes. The combination of Ben Schausch and his upright denies Kenya. Here was Kibbert with the initial header. That was on a platter. But suddenly, Kenya go from potentially equalising to potentially 2 goals down as the referee has pointed to the spot. Mama finding a way past Baron Ochieng, who's had a rough 10 minutes or so and was asking for trouble there. The handful of the Morocco number 7 shirt. Both arms around him. Clumsy combination as well. With that collision between the two players' legs, as well as all that grappling, and well, certainly Mama waiting until he got into the box, but I have to say within his rights there to go down, force the hand of the referee, and she responded by pointing to the spot. And it will be Mama who will step up to attempt to convert the penalty he won and surely put this game beyond doubt. Mere seconds, realistically, after Kenya arguably should have levelled things up. And a tough season at club level for Othman Mama. Montpellier were rock bottom of the French top flight. But all that put behind him as he represents his country at the under-20 AFCON. Puff of his cheeks to steady the nerves. Saved by Bernardo Uri. He's had an up and down evening, Othman Mama. Assist to his name. Moments of great skill, moments of great frustration. That's certainly the latter. Not far enough into the corner, not enough power. Bernardo Uri gets right. and held on to the ball for good measure. That glimmer of hope remains for Kenya. 60 seconds plus additional time for them to find an equalizer. Will they be spurred on by that moment? Given the belief, final change will be made by Mohamed Wabi. Saad El Haddad ushered off. Made quite an impression over his 89 minutes. How much can the young man who replaces him, Ilyas Saudi, making, well, about 5, one would imagine. We'll see a few seconds' time exactly how much additional time there will be. One change still remaining for Anthony Akulia. And 7 minutes of stoppage time. That glimmer of hope just gets a touch wider for the Rising Stars. This could have been all but over. Result locked in. Kenya's chances dead and buried. Had Othman Mama converted from 12 yards, but as it is, the jeopardy remains here in stoppage time. Sent forwards by Esadak. Knocked on through to Bernardo Ure. He might have picked the ball out of the net on 3 occasions this evening, but the 16-year-old keeper has impressed. Yellow card goes the way of Ismail Ouad. Ure now rather helpless for 2 of the 3 Morocco goals. They were effectively turned into an empty net. He actually made a brilliant save, what proved to be Morocco's first, adding another impressive moment to his short highlight reel. Just 16 years of age. Thumbs up. 1 for 1 when it comes to penalty saves at the under-20 AFCON. Yes, Morocco though still with the ball in the final third. A few Kenyans there saying they thought that should have been a handball. We carry on. Mama knocks it into the middle. Umar Saudi, potentially with his first touch, knocks it into the side netting. I wonder if that would have been pulled back by VAR, because it did appear to touch the arm of Othman Mama. I said earlier in the move, final change is made by Anthony Akulia. Off comes Kibet. Impressive performance from the 17-year-old. A few minutes with another set of fresh legs for this young Kenyan side to rescue a draw from the jaws of defeat. Wangi to go. Bring it down the right-hand side. This time couldn't get his cross in. Ooh. Morocco clearances are heading the direction of Othman Mama. Good sliding tackle from Esadak. Awad does well to keep that in. Nice footwork as well. Good ball in. Well controlled by Ergi, but was ultimately dealt with by Wanjala. Half of the 7 additional minutes have come and gone. Is there time for one more gilt-edged opportunity for either side, but more notably for Kenya? Or will it be Olivier Machaka reliving that moment over and over in his head? the days and nights to come for having to put it out of his mind. Look to push on match day 2. Tough tests to come, certainly, from Nigeria and Tunisia. Kenya have impressed here. Their first ever under-20 AFCON finals match. Whatever the final score, whatever the end result here, they're showing they can compete with the big names in this group. Be plenty more opportunities to pick up points. Chance to pick up 1 point. It's a little slimmer there as Wangaya is blocked off, and Ben Chelsh dives on the loose ball, takes his time getting back to his feet. Morocco now, if not having parked the bus, certainly employing a low block. Kenya struggling to find a way through as the seconds tick down. There are now 97 or so seconds remaining of the 97 minutes. They will feel like an eternity, though, for Mohamed Wabi. That is, unless Morocco can find that elusive force. Mama will look to make amends for that penalty miss. Found his way past one, but not a second. Baranocchieng in the way of the cross. Sent forwards by Esadak. He's going to get the shot away. Argi sent it into the middle, unselfishly. Couldn't pick out his fellow substitute. Referee blows the whistle for a Kenya free kick, and this is last chance saloon now for the Rising Stars. Mwangi. Mandada, 5th and final substitute. Not the involvement he'd have wanted, though. His limited time on the pitch. Opportunity for substitutes to show their manager what they can do. Work themselves into his mind for future starting 11s. Just feel the energy has gone out of this Kenyan side a touch. 97 minutes are up. And indeed, there is the final whistle. Despite missing a late penalty, Morocco hold on. 3-2, the final score. In a fascinating first Group B meeting between Kenya and Morocco. Kenya led early on. Late equalizer in the first half for Zebiri. He added his second with his final touch of his game. Sadly, stretched off immediately after. Hassan Beja leveled things back up. But a little over 5 minutes later, Reda Lalawi produced the 5th and final goal